gentlemen, thanks very much. This is Elliott Gordon Presents, and we have here an iconic, legendary personality, a member of the comedic community from the great days and even now. He's never lost it. He's remained current, and his name is the legendary Pat Cooper. Pat, welcome to the show. Welcome to the broadcast.
First of all, no disrespect to you, Elliott. When you say legend, that's wrong. I'm not even on a ledge. That's number one. Number two, it's nice you say that, but people today don't know what legends are in my era. The young people today, they got their own legends who are in their 20s. They didn't even, they weren't even born yet, and they're a legend. All right? Kane West, right? No personality, the worst I ever heard, all right? But he's a legend. Why? Okay? Because the kids don't know what a legend is. George Burns, that's a legend. Jerry Lewis is a legend. Dean Martin, Sinatra, Nat King Cole, Ella Fitzgerald, those are legends. These are the people that came from poverty and became national and international stars. Today, everything is in a, it's like the Arabs, they go, we don't belong to that Arab thing, we don't belong to that Arab thing. We are special Arabs. They're all Arabs. But each one wants to take over and become a leader, so they chop up their own nationality and their own culture. They're still Arabs. We all like Allah. Our Allah is God. All right? The Jesus Allah is Moses, I guess. I don't know. Everybody's got their own thing. And that's where the problem is. We all have feelings for our religion. And when you break it down, it's just almost the same, because we need something to hug us that we don't have, and sometimes it's a cop-out. I don't go to church. When I went to church, I used to ask for something. That's not how you go to church. You used to leave something if you're supposed to be a Catholic.
Pat, you're talking about legends. I think what you're saying is people who've come from nothing, have risen to stardom and stayed there. Ella Fitzgerald stayed there. Jackie Gleason is still recognized as a great. Younger guys than them that are older guys now, Paul McCartney, John Lennon, they stayed there. They continued. But I've got another question that I'm going to hit you with. How would you advise somebody like me concerning addressing the new and greatest broadcasting system in the history of the world? Internet's exploding, because now it's not Jackie Gleason where you got to go out on stage and entertain the rest of America. Our responsibilities on the internet is to entertain the world. So I've got to entertain people in Chicago and people in Buenos Aires. What's your advice to me to do that?
Today came here from yesterday. And the young people today don't understand. If there was no yesterday, there would be no today. So they are not really loving the education, like say from mothers and fathers that came from foreign countries who really planted the seed here. All kind of nationalities, not one. And these kids today, nice kids, but no nationality love, no understanding. I mean, I knew Jewish people. They were 100% Jewish people. Now they say, well, I'm not, I'm a Semi, I'm not too Jew, and I'm not going to wear the yarmulke, I will wear the... The same with Catholics. The same with Catholics. I love Jesus, I love Jesus, I love Jesus. And another one goes, well, I was raised on that, but I think he was an evangelist. Who asked you? If I love my sandwich, and I think my sandwich is going to do me good and fill my belly, I'm going to eat my sandwich. That's common sense. There's no common sense today. None whatsoever, okay? I got out of the subway, guy walks right into me. I said, excuse me, he's got things in his ears, he don't hear me. So I pounded him on his back, I go, fire! There's a fire here! And he's going, what? You burned! I go, say, what? You burned! And he goes, where'd you come, you dumb son of a bitch? You hurt people, there's something wrong. Don't you think? And another guy's got one of those things, what do you call those things that they...
Skateboard.
Yeah. Skateboard. Why do kids today, 18, 19, walk with a limp? Because they've been pumping this as a kid all day long, for 20 years. And they go, well, I took my doctor to this, I had to go to my doctor, my right leg is hurting. Because you're a schmuck. Because your father gave you one of those things and you're going like this here, so naturally you wore out one shoe and you wore out one leg. That's common sense. You don't do that.
Pat, what you're saying is fusion. You're saying is that these young guys, they put together the greatest technological advancements in history. They're so far advanced than we are, but there's a taste there that's lost. There's a common sense that's lost. So if there could be a fusion from what you were doing in nightclubs to what they're doing to hit people around the globe, there's got to be a coming together of generations.
It's called greed. Okay? Now, when we went and saw the television, the first television was about an inch. We cried. I mean, oh my God, a picture coming in to see Milton Berle. Holy Jesus, I can't wait till Tuesday night. We hung on to that. Over here, they get the computer. What's the next thing? Well, we got to figure. Okay, now we get the iPods. You got to have. If you don't have a finger like this, you can't work it. You really can't. See, Italians have a finger like this when they go, give me another one, son. Give me another one. See, but I'm telling you, now they got the watch. We didn't finish with the iPod. We didn't finish with the technology that's 20 years ago we know. We didn't enjoy that. You know, you sit down and you say, what did you want to eat? So, oh, I can't wait for a steak. So the guy puts a steak in front and he goes, geez, I love the salad. You didn't eat a steak, man. Well, why did you make me cook the steak? Because it's waste and it's greed. We never had that. My father says, there's the door, get out of here, you don't like it. If I say that today to my kids, they can arrest me. So there's no common sense and no decency and love of each other. True love is when your father said, I'll kill you. My father says, you know what's going to happen Thursday? I go, what? He said, I'm going to go to the electric chair. Why? Because Wednesday I'm going to kill you. So you say you're going to kill me? And he goes, yeah. And he came when yeah. And he always turned around, he talked with his neck, I'm going to kill you. And that's why we never served him soup. But this is what it is. My father today, if he was alive, or my mother, or a lot of older Jewish people, I mean, let me tell you something that really got me so happy to see. Old Jewish people, when I worked at Catskills and I worked at Florida, gave up lunch so they could send their son and daughter or grandkids to college. I'm saying, if that isn't heaven, I don't know what is. Old people, and say, Jesus, putting a quarter here, 30 cents there, enough for them to give their grandkids an education who don't capiche, they don't understand. I'd have ate my grandmother alive and hugged her and kissed her to do that, give up lunch for me. That's another thing. The kids don't understand that their grandparents were, if they were Catholic, would be saints. And I say, honey, don't you want your back? I'm going to send my grand. They cry from happiness. They'll give up to make this kid become educated.
You're talking about affection, which is a beautiful thing, and what's happening in society gets reflected on stage. The comedians of that era had a sweetness to them, and you told me, you said we called the jazz comedians, they had a rhythm, they were sweet, they were nice. The comedians on stage now, everything is nasty with an edge to insult you. You once told me, when you get up on stage, you tell a heckler, stay out of my office, don't get in my show, but on the other time, you give him the respect, you're not walking in his audience. Now the comedian has become the heckler. The audience shows up and the comedian talks about Mary, Sid, and Harry all night. There's a nastiness there. How do you view it as a
That's very easy to find out. They don't want to be themselves because they don't have that talent. They're not an individual comedian. So they're saying, well, they see Don Rickles. I mean, who's funnier than Don Rickles? You know, and he came around when everybody said, oh my God, I never heard this happen. He never said the F word, for crying out loud. Right. But Don was one and see, but years ago, most of the Jewish comics, they almost 100% were Jewish comics. They had tough times. I mean, they came from places in Brooklyn and Queens, tough times. And, you know, and they had nothing but to have a natural, God gave them something. Why you're not going to eat that good? Why can't you eat that good, God? I'm going to make you a comic. You're going to make people laugh. You're going to do something. So whatever we take away from you, we're going to give you. You're going to be, are you kidding me? I'm going to be. And they stood by it. And when you said something funny in a Jewish table, they say another Milton Berle, another Don Rickles. I said something at the table. My father goes, you know what, Thursday I'm going to kill you. I mean, you know, that's a disrespect to talk that way on the table. They're going to eat or you're going to talk.
Yeah, but Pat, you still had Jackie Vernon come out of the Italian community, yourself, Dick Capri.
Never admitted. I love Jackie Vernon, I love Pat Henry. They never said, I'm Italian. I went on national television, I said, I'm Italian. But I had to change my name, Pasquale Computer. My father didn't talk to me. Because it was more important that I kept a squalid computer and starve. Rather than be Pat Cooper and become a millionaire, they go, well, you have some attitude.
Pat, to be a great comedian, you have to be on the outside. At one time, all the singers were Italian, all the comics were Jewish. Now it's tough to find an Italian singer, and it's tough to find a Jewish comedian.
Because the cultures have changed. When I was living with my mother and father, they had a rubber band on the radio, all the Italian music. So when they would go out or whatever, we'd take their rubber band off and try to hear who was, if Fisher was coming along and Sinatra's. And if my father saw you do that, he would tell you, why can't you don't get your own radio? So I said, don't I live here? No. No. You got to go out and earn to have a roof over your head. You want to go to the movies, it was 11 cents. So what we do, we get the Pepsi Cola bottles for 2 cents, and then we try to get 11 cents. Now, the cans, Mario Como, whoever you are, God bless you, he said, from now on, we're going to have a deposit in the cans. So from the bottles, we went to the cans. So I'm saying, that's not important. That's not important. The important thing is we don't have the dignity that we're supposed to have. I mean, Christ, I get in an elevator and they take the hat off. You know, can I help you? I don't see that. They don't care. And it's not a question they go get up in the morning and say, I want to be a bad guy today. The parents, us, we spoil them. Now they don't want to work. They want to say, I want to be like him. I want to be a rock star. I want to be like him. And I'm saying, Jesus, what happened to you saying you don't have talent? I mean, I know you've been knocking around for years trying to get your foot in the door. And you know the kind of talent that you have is what you're doing now, what you want to do. But the kids today say, I want to be like him, so what? My mother goes, go to school and be like him. It ain't going to happen.
Pat, I go into the comedy clubs and I see the women there are more vulgar than the men. I pull a couple of these girls to the side. I say, why do you do that? So they say to me, well, the owner pressures us to use this vocabulary. I said, the only thing the owner wants is a room full of uproarious laughter. If you can't do it, walk off the stage and get another job. Whenever you've gotten on a stage that I've witnessed, it's that belly laugh. You drag them down. There's 400 or 500 people beside themselves. Now, you've faced hard audiences because you've worked for real stars. Sinatra, when you went out at the Sands Hotel, they didn't want Pat Cooper's 12 minutes. Get off the stage, let Frank come out and sing.
Worst job I ever
did. How do you deal with that?
What?
How do you deal with that?
Let me look at another side. I'm making thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars a night. I don't care if Sinatra says, just wave. That's where I was going. I was not looking to be a Robert De Niro. I was not looking to be another Sinatra. I was looking to be Pat Cooper and talk and do the way I do. Talk dirty, dirty, and dirty, because that's me. I want to be the same guy that I used to do on the street corner. I do a couple of impressions coming like this. Now I'm seeing thousands and thousands of dollars. I'm saying, where does this money come from? I wouldn't miss a job. So when I work with Sinatra, everybody around Sinatra would say this. I spoke to Frank. He said, don't say that, don't do this. I said, wait a minute, what the hell are you kidding me? I'm an individual. Does Frank tell me when to shower? I don't tell him what songs to sing. Don't tell me how to be funny. Oh, he just said something bad about Sinatra. I said something bad about Jesus. I said, well, you shouldn't say that. That's why I'm me, and that's why they're you. I'm not a fighter. I don't want to come and step outside and punch your face in. But I say that to a gangster and then get killed. But I'd rather you don't take my dignity. And I'm not trying to say I'm a tough guy. I mean, listen, I've been with the John Gottis. I've been with the Sam Gravanas. I've been with all of them. And not one of them turned around and take my dignity. I said, do you want me to do the wedding? Yes. But don't turn around and say, you got to do the wedding. I tell you, go fuck yourself. That's it. Pardon my French, I don't want to do it. Hey, Pat, we don't want to be bad. Bullshit. It's all bullshit. Okay? I come from where people don't want to work and steal your money. I've been beaten by the best, but you know something? You don't write it out. Then you look at the good side where they throw money at you. And I'm saying, so Sinatra says 12 minutes. This one says 9 minutes. I said, tell them I won't show up. Don't take my name off. Give me that money. And that's why I got money today. I never complained. I never complained.
Pat, you went from opening act in 1980 on the Tom Snyder Show. You went from opening act to starring act. Howard Stern, and I've heard it on a recording, said, what you say, a lot of people say, only you'll say it with a live microphone. What the hell are people afraid of?
Well, the only way you make people brave and force them, they got to be in a war. Give them a fucking gun, say, if you don't shoot, you're going to get shot. I turned around. I was this way all my life. Okay? I was very sensitive. when the kids that I hung out with had a teen, they had a jacket. And they all had a jacket. I felt bad that I didn't get a jacket. I said, I thought it was part of the game. They said, well, you don't play ball. I said, but I entertain in the corner. I'm one of the guys. But the wheel turns. When I worked with Jimmy Roselli at that time, and I worked the first job I got in the Cope was with Frankie Valli in the Four Seasons. Mm-hmm. But then I worked with Jimmy Roselli. Now all these guys, the Italian guys that I grew up with, calling me. I say, what is it, Vinny? What is it? Patty. I know we love it. We're so proud of you. Oh, really? Yeah. I need 10 seats because I want to bring my mother and my uncle to see Jimmy Roselli because he sings Italian. I go, really? How's that grab you? Where's my jacket? He goes, what? What are you talking about? Where's my jacket? You all had jackets, and you don't give me a jacket? He said, well, they didn't play ball. I played ball. I entertained you in the snow, in the fucking rain. Now you're telling me, now you lost the jacket? Don't even come near me. I ain't getting you. I'm not a maitre d'. Talk to the maitre d'. Give him $100 and they bring your mother in. Then give him another $100, bring your uncle in. And that was the end of that.
Pat, Sullivan to Stern. Sullivan basically had a vaudeville show where he was bringing acts in from all over the world, the best of the best. It was fabulous. He was very strict concerning censorship, the problems with the Rolling Stones, and he stood up to them. And then to Howard Stern, where anything goes, the dirtier the better. And now
he lost his masculinity, Howard Stern, and I'm disappointed. And I went on another show, Opie and Anthony, and I bawled the sugar out of him, and saying, "How dare you tell the public that you're not that guy? You made millions of dollars being a prick, and you made millions of dollars being a nice guy, rarely. But your money came when you were attacked. Now you remarried. Now you want to change your image. You're not going to change it. You're still that prick, but you're a nice prick." I said, "Then you said I did it. How'd you make the money?" I was on radio. I was the only one I was a prick. Really? Yes, and I did it. Why do I say that? Very simple. David Letterman gets caught screwing around his wife. He goes on his own show and goes, "I did it." Once he said I did it, nobody bothered him no more. The minute you turn around and say, "I didn't do me, I never did that." I said to Seth Stern on this Opie and Anthony show, "Why don't you tell him? That's you. What's wrong? That's Howard Stern. You're 20 years making nothing but millions. Now you married a girl that loves dogs." I said, "You are a dog." I said. And then you turn around, "I've been one of your greatest guests, and now you're angry because I'm standing up to you." I said, "What happened to your first wife? How happened you got to apologize to your children that you're a prick? Your children know you're a prick, because his friends tell them your father's a prick." But some people say he's a genius. Let me tell you something. Nobody got away more than Howard Stern. And right there, when he retires, he says, "I got to tell you something, ladies and gentlemen. I said things that I should have not, but I'm going to not cop out on. I'm not going to cop out. I said it, and I will say it again, because that's me. So if you hate me, screw you. Meanwhile, if you hate me, I've been making millions, so I want to love the ones who hate me. Those who love me, I can't make a dime. But don't say you're not him." I tell people, they go, "Yeah, you should never went on Howard Stern. I mean, you should never went on Tom Snyder. I mean, you would put down acts." I didn't put him down. I told the truth. I said, Stephen Eady turned around and told me what I do. I said, "You paying me?" "What? You're talking to us, Stephen Eady? I don't give a shit, you Jesus Christ. How dare you? How dare you? Well, you're not going to work with us no more. How's that grab you, Stephen Eady? Fuck you." And I told that on Tom Snyder. And he goes, "So do you know what you're saying?" "Well, I'll say it. If you don't know what I'm saying, I'll say it again." So right away to here, here's what the intelligentsia say. Is eradicate. Don't pay attention. Don't pay attention? Don't pay attention to Harry Truman, who blew up the fucking Japanese. He's a good man. I want to kiss his balls. He's a great president. Roosevelt came around. He was a great president. I mean, what the fuck you want? Well, it wasn't, I could pick on things. We could pick on anybody. My mother was nuts.
Pat, I want to talk about work ethic. I want to tell them one story. You got one of the best work ethics I'm aware of. About 5 years ago, I got him a job in Florida at the theater in Clearwater, Ruth Eckerd Hall. And it was a good job. And he's stuck in New York in a snowstorm.
Right.
And he can't get out of New York finally calls me on the phone. He says, if there's one seat on an airplane, it was a blizzard, leaving out, he said, I'm going to hang on for dear life to get that seat. He gets the seat. It takes him into an airport on the Miami side of the peninsula. That's about a 4.5-hour car ride across to the west side where Tampa is, where this theater is. He tells me he's going to sleep over in the airport that night so he doesn't miss a connecting flight that'll get him there in 45 minutes. Now, wasn't a young man at that time, had to be in his late 70s or about 80, but he said, I took the job, I committed to the job, you got a commission coming, there are people expecting me to open the show, and he takes the connecting flight, doesn't really sleep, and practically walks on stage and does a knockout hour and 15 minutes. Now, that's called commitment, that's called honoring your word, respect for agents who get commissions, respect for promoters. You don't find that anymore. Everything is, if I'm there, if I can make it. What happened to the work ethic is gone. The old comics, I read about guys like Lenny Bruce who was willing to go to jail to do the act he felt his audience wanted.
They opened the doors. Guys like that opened the doors for the next generation. You're not going to see that now. There's nobody wants to invent anything right now in comedy. They don't want to do it. All they want is a 6-minute, to get on television once a week, and that's it. I can tell you, people on television now have got their own series. They're not really funny, but they're smart. They surround themselves with great actors too.
Jerry Seinfeld.
Oh, great! All of them were great. The whole show had a great rhythm. All of these guys, the Mary Tyler Moore Show, and you're not going to. Man, they look at Mary Tyler Moore and they go, "That ain't funny." My grandkids goes, "Who's Jerry Lewis? What does he do?" I say, "Cleans fish." What do you mean, what does he do? But I can't force them to like Jerry Lewis or get involved with Jerry Lewis. She wants to be an actress. The other one wants to be a dictator. Who the fuck knows? So I back away. I can't tell people anymore what I think they should do. Because right now, the ships are not made the way they used to be. Airplanes are not made the way they used to be. We're cutting them down. We're cutting down on things that we need to not cut down on for the fucking money.
Everything's instant gratification, instant potatoes. You look at YouTube and they'll get a lot of hits on a video of a guy just acting silly or a girl acting silly. Now, I saw a documentary about a week ago on Jerry Lewis. Whether you like him, whether you don't like him, he worked around the clock to develop his comedy to be as good as it could be.
Man's a genius, and it's unfair what they did to him. And I got news for you. And he backed away from all that thing he used to do once a year.
Muscular dystrophy.
All right? Why? People say, well, Jerry, why? I say, you want my opinion? Yeah. Because if he don't do what he did, back away and not fight it, they'd come up with more shit. Even if it's wrong, he knows he don't stand a chance. They'll find out that he was stealing money, or they can say it. They can say he was doing this, he was doing that. You know what he did? The smart thing. Backed off and said, forget about it. Because you can't beat billionaires when a broke his balls and he stepped down. What people don't know, now, excuse me, I went out there and I didn't even go on. When they wanted to put me on 4 o'clock in the morning New York time, I said, I didn't fly today for that. I said, you're out of your fucking mind. It's well, I said, no. Now, what nobody knew, Jerry Lewis was not there that night. He already taped a couple of things during the day. They didn't want him in the building. They don't want him in this genius. How fucking dare you teach him that way? And some of the people backstage who don't even know about Jerry, how genius he is, they're fucking rude. They say, well, he's old shit. What? That's like saying to your mother, how dare you make me? Who the fuck are you to make me? Well, your mother. I don't want you to be my mother no more. Well, that's what happens today, and nobody says nothing.
Now, Pat, you had complained, and I came up with a very good point about these telethons, and he's probably the granddaddy of the telethons, the MDA. But you're saying the stars come in and they expect first-class air travel, first-class hotels. Tom Dreesen told me whenever Frank Sinatra took a benefit, he paid his own expenses and he paid for his own musicians, and that's called doing it the right way.
Well, how many times I worked, and and they used to have whiskey in your thing, and they used to have, you wrote down what you wanted. You say, well, I don't really, right? I worked with stars that took my whiskey out of my room and took it home. I'm saying, what are you doing? They said, well, you're not going to take this, are you? I said, no, but I can't. I'll give it back. They took anything that didn't walk.
You know, Pat, you talk about perks with entertainers, and I've dealt with them as well, where it gets silly. No promoter minds if somebody's doing the business. If Paul McCartney's generating $10 million, he wants a case of champagne, he's entitled to it. But when somebody's not doing the business and the promoter's got to figure every penny and they want to load on extras just to be a slob, deals fall through the cracks, and it's the worst end of the show business industry.
Well, they're not going to stop it. We got Hillary Clinton now, who they told she gets a private plane. She wants the president to the suite when she makes a speech, $200,000, and she's denying it, or she's not denying it. She says, so we're always looking for loopholes to commit a crime, and she's running for the president. And I'm saying to myself, why does she think she should be president? We need a guy that comes out of the fucking woods. A guy that comes over, a woman that comes out of the woods and said, listen, this is bullshit. You want to know what I'm going to do? This is what I'm going to do. And that's it. Otherwise, but she's not telling you. Now she wants to help the middle class. She went from the middle class to the high class. Now she wants to help the middle class. We don't give a shit. What we want is the common sense of the country. I mean, whether you like Obama or not, he's our president. You don't like him? No. But he's still my president. I'm not going to knock him on his ass and tell me to know what he's doing. I don't know what I'm doing. How can I say this man? And he's stuck it up everybody's ass. Nobody heard from this man. This was a 1,000,000-to-1 shop. A guy from Chicago, Illinois. He goes over there. He goes, I'm going to do it. He goes, oh, and he whacked out fucking Clinton. Whacked her out. And he didn't belong to be president, so he learned as he was president. So if he's making mistakes now, you know what he can say? I'm learning.
Pat, back to entertainment, I was watching a clip of Johnny Carson the other night, and it's just great. He's very relaxed when you watch him. He had that mannerism. He becomes a friend, a member of everybody's family. If Pat Cooper comes out, he just gives you your 6 minutes. Rodney gives you your 6 minutes. And then I watch Jimmy Kimmel and Jimmy Fallon, and I find an edge to their interviews. How do you explain that?
It's a new era. There's only one Johnny Carson. How do you explain Joe Louis, one of the greatest heavyweights? We don't have him like that no more. I mean, here's a guy, a black guy, that didn't even know that he owed the government medicine, the taxes, that worked for $1 too. He put his championship on the line twice for $1. When's the last time you heard anybody put it for $1 and gave it to the Army and gave it to the Navy? And here's a man that's supposed to be not too bright. This guy had a heart as big as this building. Not only that, me growing up and remembering him, I became his friend because he became a host at Caesar's Palace. And now here's the coup de grace. You want to talk about a wonderful man? They made a statue of him, all white. I should not have luck in my life. They made a big statue. Here he's like this, but it's all white. So people were complaining. They said, he's a black man. And now they got it hidden. Because nobody remembers Joe Louis. I swear to you, man. I'm saying this here so you got me on tape so you know I don't bullshit. A great man like this, supposed to be a dummy, gives away millions of dollars, and then the government knocks on the door and says, Joe Louis, I think a couple of million. He didn't know about it. The man didn't know. And the government signed it away. If you didn't do that to this man, you'd be ashamed of yourself. But he's all in white and they hit him. You go there today, say, where's Joe Louis' statue? I don't know. It's behind a curtain.
Pat, I'll tell you something else. Joe Frazier never got a statue. Joe Frazier, who I represented for autograph shows right before he died, was always very upset that Philadelphia gave a statue to Sylvester Stallone, a make-believe fighter, and Joe Frazier, a true heavyweight champion of the world, they said no to. So, it's terrible. There's an unfairness out there. Pat, quick question. There's a lot of publicity on Sinatra's 100th birthday.
Yeah.
Great icon. You've worked with him. You've had issues or relationships with him and his management and his family. How do you feel about the excitement over the 100th anniversary? Is it good for the business or is it bad?
Well, I don't think you have to go out or make television and everything. I think people, if they like it, they're going to like you here from your heart. And let me tell you something. I did not like working with Frank Sinatra. Not because I did not respect him. I know nobody was waiting. If I got one left, I was thankful. What happened was, this is the coup de grace. What happened was, after I finished with Sinatra for $1,000 a week, I went downtown and worked with Joe Williams. I got $7,500 a week. And here's the coup de grace. When I went downtown after working with Sinatra on the strip, everybody goes, oh, Pat Cooper went downtown after Sinatra. I said, that's right. Years later, Sinatra went downtown, and all those who made fun of me, Steve and Edie, Vic Damone, they all went down and says, what happened, you forgot Cooper? I went downtown when it was a curse to go downtown, you fucking idiots. No, you're not supposed to call us idiots. Here's another one, how's that grab you? How dare you say, I went downtown, I got more money downtown working with Sinatra 1,000. Here's the thrill working with Sinatra. When I didn't work with him and I had a friend called Vinny Panetta who had a place called Rocky Lee's. So when Sinatra was coming into town, Vinny Panetta would say to Sinatra, geez, you worked with Pat, you never got to know me. He said, well, not really, And I said, he said, well, you didn't find him because I didn't suck around. He says, why don't you say you're going to like Pat? So he calls me one day and I go down there. I'm sitting down with his wife, Sinatra and his wife, and we're having pizza, and I'm telling him stories like I'm talking right now. And it was great. And every time he came to New York, he would check and see if I was in New York. Pat, come on, we sit down and have something to eat. And that was fine. But working with him was a tough Italian guys. Became sissies. Does Frank like me? Ask me if Frank likes me. Huh? I don't like you. I don't fucking Frank like you. They go and see, I don't know, I think he's mad at me. Who the fuck are you that you're going to be mad at you? I mean, these are tough guys that would kill their mother for a quarter. Now they're, Frank likes me. Find out if tell him I'm not. Tell him Scarface neck, he remembers me. So, I lived through that. Why don't you put that in the movies so that they wouldn't believe it? The tough guys will become sissies for a guy that they idolized. I mean, Jesus Christ. And when Jimmy Rosselli was saying Italian songs, they turned around and go, another, he told the gangster to go screw himself. But, you know why? Because every Sunday he had dinner with Gambino. Who's going to hit Jimmy Rosselli when he has macaroni with the head man? And that's what happened. And they never touched him. He told them, go fuck yourself, beat me up. They wouldn't touch him because the old man goes, don't touch you. You touch, you're going to touch me. And that's not bullshit, it's just the truth.
Pat, thanks. It's been a great interview.
I think it was a great interview. You were great. Can I tell you something? I'm proud of you. No, joking aside, because you know something, I didn't think you're this good because you've been around and you're sitting down and you know what you're doing. You're going to be well. I love you, buddy. You know that.
Thank you.
I really do. You're a good guy.
Thank you.
All right. That'll be $7 to you, $4 to you. And can you get me a pretzel?